What if I told you the happiest place on Earth has been hiding something for 100 years? Look, we all know Disney. Mickey Mouse, magical castles, childhood dreams, but I've been digging, and what I found? It's not exactly pixie dust and fairy tales. Disney's been around since 1928, almost a century of entertainment, innovation, and let's just say, some pretty dark secrets. And I'm not talking about horror movies or public domain Mickey going on killing sprees. That's fictional. This is real. Today we're going down the iceberg. For those unfamiliar, iceberg videos work like this. The tip is what everyone knows, surface level stuff. But the deeper we go, that's where things get obscure, depressing, disturbing. We've got 5 tiers. Everything here is real, documented, and verifiable. No creepypasta, no conspiracy theories. Just facts that Disney would prefer you didn't know. So buckle up, because we're about to find out what really happens when you wish upon a star. And trust me, it's not what Walt promised. Tier 1. Let's start with the surface. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Before Mickey, there was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Walt Disney created him in the 1920s, and Oswald was featured in 26 cartoon shorts. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Look at him and look at Mickey. See the similarities? The round head, the big eyes, the design? That's not a coincidence. Everything went fine until Disney lost the rights to Oswald due to a contract dispute. Just lost him. So what did Walt do? He created a replacement, a mouse instead of a rabbit. And that mouse became the most recognizable character in entertainment history. However, Disney still wanted Oswald back so badly that in 2006, they traded a real human being for him. Sports broadcaster Al Michaels. I'm not joking. They literally traded a person to get back a cartoon rabbit. That's how much these characters mean to them. Kinda makes you wonder, what if Disney had kept Oswald? Would we be living in a world where a rabbit, not a mouse, rules the entertainment industry? Weird to think about. Now, this one's actually clever. Disney uses a specific paint color called Go Away Green to make things invisible. Not actually invisible, but your brain just ignores it. It's this weird mixture of gray, blue, and green. Something about the color combination makes your eyes skip right over it. They use it everywhere. Construction sites, speakers, employee doors, utility buildings, anything they don't want you looking at gets painted Go Away Green. Check out photos of Disney parks. Once you know what to look for, you'll see it everywhere. It's honestly impressive, like optical camouflage. They've literally engineered a color that makes you not want to look at something. There's also blending blue for the same purpose, but Go Away Green is the famous one. Disney's so good at controlling what you see, they've hacked your perception, and you didn't even notice. Disney loves hiding things in plain sight. Let's rapid fire through some. The Indiana Jones rope at Disneyland. There's a sign that says do not pull rope, but the knot is crossed out. Pull it hard enough and you get an audio clip. Pretty harmless, pretty fun. Then there's the Morse code train. At the New Orleans Square train station, you can hear Morse code transmissions, and you know what it says? The first 2 sentences of Walt Disney's opening day speech from July 17, 1955. Apparently, Walt's wife used to be a telegraph operator and could decipher Morse code. Sweet, right? A little love letter hidden in the park. But the main thing about these Easter eggs, they're designed to make you feel special when you find them. Like you're in on the secret. You've discovered something Disney hid just for clever people like you. But really, it's just another layer of control. They hide things, you find them. You feel connected to the brand. You come back. You spend more money. You tell your friends about the secret thing you discovered. It's not magic, it's marketing. Brilliant marketing, sure, but marketing nonetheless. And that's just the surface level. These are the things Disney actually wants you to find. The cute stories, the clever design tricks, the fun facts that make you go, wow, Disney thinks of everything. Because they do think of everything. Every single detail is calculated. Every color, every sound, every hidden Mickey. It's all designed to keep you engaged, keep you spending, keep you coming back. But here's what they don't want you thinking about. If Disney puts this much effort into painting colors and Morse code messages, what else are they controlling? What else are they hiding? What happens when we look at things they don't want us to see? That's where we're going next, below the surface, where the magic starts looking a little less magical. Tier 2. Let's talk about how Disney creates pop stars, because it's not talent scouts finding gifted kids. It's a literal assembly line. Let's look at this picture. Mickey Mouse Club 1990s. Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling. All from one show. That's not luck, that's industrial scale star production. And you know it works. Disney created a show around a kid. That kid is the main character. At some point in the show, the kid sings. Maybe one song, maybe an original, doesn't matter. The episode airs. Suddenly there's an album, then a tour, then merchandise, then they're a pop star. Rinse and repeat. Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, Jonas Brothers, Zendaya, all the same pattern. Show, song, album, stardom. Disney's done this dozens of times, and it works every single time. Think about what that actually means. They're choosing children, sometimes as young as 5 or 6, and deciding you're going to be famous. Then they groom them into it, and I'm using groom deliberately here. They're shaping these kids' entire personalities, images, and careers from childhood. The promotion Disney gives you makes failure nearly impossible. You're on their channel, in their movies, at their parks. You can't escape Disney's reach, which means you can't escape becoming exactly what they designed you to be. And sure, some of these kids wanted to be stars, but did they understand what they were signing up for? Did their parents? Or did everyone just see the Disney logo and assume it must be safe, must be magical, must be fine? Nickelodeon tried copying this model. Didn't work as well, because Disney perfected it first. They've been doing it longer. They're better at it. They know exactly how to take a child and turn them into a product. Not a person, a product. Alright, let's talk about the weird stuff Disney hid in their movies. And I mean actually hid, not Easter eggs they wanted you to find. The Lion King. When Simba falls down, dust flies up and spells sex in the air. Frame by frame, it's right there. Disney claims it says SFX for the effects team. Sure, okay. The Little Mermaid. The original VHS cover had a penis tower. Just straight up a phallic castle spire. Accidental, they said. Then in the movie itself, the priest at the wedding gets visibly aroused. You can see it. They edited it out later, but it was there. Then there's The Rescuers. This one's wild. There's a frame, just one frame, of a topographic photograph of a naked woman. Full nudity in a children's movie. Disney recalled 3 million copies to fix it. 3 million copies. Now, maybe it was disgruntled animators, maybe it was someone's idea of a prank. Working conditions at Disney weren't great, so rebellion makes sense. But here's the question, how did it get through? How did nobody notice until after millions of copies were shipped? Either Disney's quality control is terrible, or someone knew and didn't care. Neither option is great. Now, this one's actually kind of impressive. There was a guerrilla filmmaker who made an entire horror movie inside Disneyland without permission. 0 permits, 0 authorization. Just snuck in with cameras and made a whole feature film. It's called Escape from Tomorrow. They spent months planning, then gradually filmed everything they needed. The patience alone is insane. The movie's about a family's trip to Disney going horribly wrong, getting dark and psychological. Obviously, they were hoping Disney would sue them. A big legal battle means publicity, which means people watch the movie. Free marketing. But Disney did something smarter. They ignored it, just didn't care. No lawsuit, no cease and desist, nothing. No free publicity for you. The movie did get into the Sundance Film Festival, so that's something, but they lost a ton of money. You can watch it online now if you want. It's weird, creepy, and honestly kind of fascinating, knowing it was all filmed illegally in the parks. And this thing bothers me. Disney let it slide because addressing it would have given it attention. They're so powerful they can just choose to ignore someone using their property. That's not a legal strategy, that's dominance. They control what becomes a controversy and what doesn't. They decide what matters and what disappears. That's the kind of power Disney has. They don't fight battles they don't need to win because they've already won the war. Now time to step into the next tier, the darker one. Tier 3. There was a place in Japan called Nara Dreamland, opened in 1961, closed in 2006, and it was a complete shameless ripoff of Disneyland. I'm not talking inspired by, I'm talking copied. The castle, the main street, the Matterhorn, everything. For 45 years, this place operated as basically Japanese Disneyland, and Disney did nothing about it. How? How does a company that's absolutely psychotic about copyright protection let this slide for 4.5 decades? Disney sues daycares for having Mickey Mouse painted on their walls, but an entire theme park copying their design? Nothing. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe it was too expensive to fight internationally. Maybe there's something we don't know about, but it's weird. What's weirder? How it ended. In 2006, Nara Dreamland just closed, officially because of low attendance, but everything was left behind. Rides, buildings, trucks, everything. Like everyone just vanished one day. Photographers who broke in found it perfectly preserved, a ghost town. And you have to wonder, did attendance really drop? Or did Disney finally catch wind and someone decided we're out before the lawsuits hit? We'll probably never know. But looking at those photographs, seeing the blatant Disneyland copy abandoned and rotting, there's something poetic about it, like a warning. You can copy Disney, but eventually the magic runs out. During World War II, the US government hired Walt Disney to make propaganda, educational films, recruitment cartoons, stuff to make Americans feel better about the war we were fighting. And Disney was really good at it. Some titles: Education for Death, The Making of a Nazi, Der Fuhrer's Face, Commando Duck, Donald Gets Drafted. You can watch most of these on YouTube right now, and we all know war propaganda works by dehumanizing the enemy, making them look evil, stupid, monstrous, and Disney characters, our beloved childhood icons, were doing exactly that. Donald Duck was fighting Japanese soldiers, educational cartoons showing Germans as brainwashed automatons. Was it effective? Absolutely. Disney's really good at manipulating emotions and making you feel things. That's their whole business model. So when the government needed to convince Americans that killing people overseas was necessary and good, Disney was the perfect choice. And look, Every country does propaganda during wartime, I get it. But there's something unsettling about seeing Donald Duck, a character designed for children, being used to teach soldiers how to fight. Seeing Mickey Mouse in military training films. It shows you what Disney really is. Not an entertainment company, a tool, a weapon. One that can be pointed at children or adults, at selling merchandise or selling war. The mechanism is the same. Control emotions, shape perception, make people believe what you want them to believe. Disney just happens to use that power to sell toys instead of tanks, usually. In 1938, a woman named Mary Ford applied to Disney for an animation apprentice position. She wanted to be an animator. She had talent. She had passion. But this is the reply letter she got back from Disney. Women do not do any of the creative work in connection with preparing the cartoons for the screen, as that is a task performed entirely by young men. For this reason, girls are not considered for the training school. The only work open to women consists of tracing the characters on clear celluloid sheets with India ink, and then filling in the tracings on the reverse side with paint according to directions. Read that again. Women don't do creative work. That's for men. Women can trace and paint what men create. That's it. The letter continues. It would not be advisable to come to Hollywood with the above specifically in view, as there are really few openings in comparison with the number of girls who apply. Translation: don't bother. You're a woman, get lost. This was brought up in 2014 by Meryl Streep to show how anti-Semitic and sexist Walt Disney actually was. And sure, it was a different time. Everyone says that. The 1930s were sexist, we know. But this isn't casual sexism, this is policy. This is a formal rejection letter on company letterheads, explaining in matter-of-fact language that women are not allowed to be creative, not incapable, not unqualified, not allowed. And this is the company that now sells girl power merchandise, that makes movies about strong princesses, that claims to champion diversity and inclusion. The past doesn't go away just because you rebrand. The foundation Disney was built on, the attitudes and policies that shaped the company, they're still there, buried under layers of corporate PR and progressive marketing, but still there. Moving on next to Tier 4, the disturbing truths. Let's talk about something genuinely disgusting. Until 2001, Disney park workers weren't allowed to wear their own underwear under costumes. Why? Because normal underwear bunched up, left visible lines, broke the illusion that these were real characters, not people in suits. Can't have that at the happiest place on earth. So what did Disney do? They made cast members share underwear, communal jock straps, used by multiple people. Washed, sure, but still shared between dozens of workers. Exactly what you think happened. People contracted pubic lice, scabies, skin infections, because they were wearing underwear that dozens of other people had worn. And this went on for decades. It wasn't until 2001 that Disney finally went, maybe sharing underwear is bad actually. 2001. Not the 1950s, not even the 80s, 2001. And I just had one question. Why didn't they just require workers to buy specific underwear? Seamless underwear exists. Athletic underwear exists. Why was communal underwear the solution? Well, it shows control. That's why. When you control what someone wears down to their underwear, when you make them give up that basic level of personal autonomy, you're not just enforcing costume standards, you're breaking them down. Making them accept that Disney owns every part of their work experience, including what touches their skin, that's not costume design, that's dehumanization. You've heard this phrase, right? No one dies at Disney. It's meant to make the park sound magical, safe, a place where even death can't reach you. It's also technically true, because Disney doesn't let people die on their property. But do you know how it works? If someone dies at a Disney park, they're not pronounced dead on sight. Doesn't matter how obviously dead they are. Doesn't matter if they've been dead for 20 minutes. Disney staff will perform CPR, resuscitation attempts, whatever it takes to keep them alive until they're off Disney property. Then, and only then, are they pronounced dead. Witnesses have reported seeing clearly deceased people being resuscitated for extended periods, while Disney staff frantically work to get them off the grounds. It's not about saving lives, it's about the technicality, the statistics, the claim that no one dies at Disney. Imagine being a family member, watching your loved one die, and instead of being allowed to grieve, you're watching a cast member perform pointless CPR on a corpse because the company needs to maintain its perfect image. That's not magic, that's dystopian corporate policy prioritizing brand image over human dignity. Some people do die at Disney though, and sometimes it's pure negligence. Marcelo Torres was 22 years old. September 5th, 2003. He was riding Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland, the ride that's still operating today. Throughout 2003, that ride had been showing problems, maintenance issues. Nothing was properly fixed, and Marcelo paid the price. The train was going around a sharp right turn in a tunnel when the front car completely derailed. It mounted the car behind it and came down hard on Marcelo, hitting his chest and head, broke his ribs, internal bleeding. He died slowly while other riders sat there, injured with his body in front of them for 20 minutes before help arrived. 20 minutes. He was a graphic artist, had his whole life ahead of him. Died because Disney didn't properly maintain a ride they knew had issues. His family got a settlement. The details weren't disclosed, but they requested that $500,000 go to Brooks College in Long Beach for scholarships for aspiring animators in Marcelo's name. In their words, it won't bring back our son. And what was Disney's response? They fixed the ride, reopen it, keep making money, because the show must go on, right? even if it costs people their lives. Have you ever noticed how many Disney movies don't have moms? Bambi's mom dies, Ariel's mom is gone, Belle's mom is dead, Jasmine, Pocahontas, Sid from Toy Story, all missing mothers. There are theories. Some say it's because classic fairy tales didn't have mothers, since maternal mortality was high back then. Makes sense for old stories, but there's a dark past behind it. Walt made his first fortune and bought his mom a house. She complained about smelling gas. Walt sent the Disney employee to fix it. The problem wasn't fully resolved. His mother died from gas asphyxiation. Some believe the guilt from that, the fact that he bought the house, that he sent someone to fix it who didn't, that he didn't check himself. That's why mothers rarely exist in Disney films. Maybe it's motivation for characters. Dead parents create heroes. But maybe it's something deeper. Guilt embedded into every story Disney tells. We'll never know for sure, but the pattern is undeniable. Tier 5. Before starting Tier 5, here's the warning. This tier contains descriptions of death, animal abuse, and child abuse. Viewer discretion advised. June 28, 1974. Debbie Stone had just been accepted to Iowa State University. She was working at Disneyland to save money, recently hired as a hostess for a new attraction called America Sings. That day, she'd called her parents asking permission to marry her boyfriend. They said yes. She was probably having the best day of her life. America Sings had 6 rotating theaters. Debbie's job was to stand at the left of each stage, welcoming guests in and saying goodbye as they left. Simple, safe, routine. Around 10:30 p.m. during the last show, as the stages rotated into position, someone from an adjacent theater heard a scream, a blood-curdling scream. When operators rushed over, they found Debbie crushed between the rotating theater wall and the stationary outer wall, crushed to death. But nobody knows. How did it happen? Did she trip? Was she not paying attention? Did someone push her? There were people around, there were operators, there were safety protocols, and yet somehow an 18-year-old girl got caught in machinery and died. To this day, visitors report hearing a voice at that location telling people to be careful. Some believe it's Debbie's ghost, still trying to protect people even in death. True or not, she deserved better. A girl excited about college, about marriage, about her future, dead because of a rotating stage. Now the next one is hard to talk about. In 1958, Disney released White Wilderness, part of their True Life Adventures documentary series. There's a segment about lemmings committing mass suicide by jumping off cliffs. Problem? Lemmings don't do that. They never have. It's a complete myth. So where did the footage come from? Disney filmmakers threw them off a cliff themselves. I'm not showing the footage here. I won't. But if you want to watch the 1958 White Wilderness documentary, it's on YouTube, and it's one of the hardest things you'll ever watch. You can see lemmings being pushed. You can see them clinging to the edge, desperately trying not to fall, and Disney added cartoon sound effects as they fell to their deaths. Because of this documentary, the lemming suicide myth spread worldwide. For decades, people believed it was real. It took years to debunk. Why did they do this? For a documentary? For entertainment? There's no justification. None. They killed animals, lied about it, and created a false myth that persists even today. These people lacked any humanity whatsoever. Since 2006, 35 Disney employees have been arrested for sex crimes involving children, trying to meet minors, possession of child pornography. 32 of them have been convicted, 35 people, and those are just the ones who got caught. Think about what that means. Disney runs a park centered around children. Children are everywhere. If you're a predator, where would you want to work? Exactly. Background checks clearly weren't thorough enough. Or maybe they were and Disney hired them anyway. We don't know. What we do know is that 35 predators got jobs at the happiest place on earth, and Disney tries very hard to keep these stories buried. Disney Dream Cruise Line. A crew member followed an 11-year-old child into an elevator and molested them. There's video evidence. Cameras caught everything. Disney didn't report it. They waited an entire day. The FBI believes they were trying to make it disappear. The crew member admitted to the molestation. Video evidence, confession, open and shut case. Disney flew him back to India. He got away with it. Let that sink in. A child was assaulted on Disney property. There was proof, and Disney helped the perpetrator escape justice. Why? To protect their image, to avoid headlines, to keep the magic alive. And if they handled this one so well that he escaped, how many other cases were there? How many times did they delete footage, pressure families to stay quiet, make problems disappear? When you're researching Disney's dark side, you find a lot. And then you find conflicting information, stories that don't add up, details that change, sources that disappear. Disney's more powerful than Nickelodeon, more powerful than most entertainment companies. They have more money, more lawyers, more control over their image, and they do whatever it takes to maintain it. Throughout this iceberg, we've seen Disney cover up, hide, and bury their skeletons, successfully. Many Disney Channel actors have come forward about abuse, but they don't mention specifics, don't speak names, don't give details. Either they're afraid, or they've been silenced, or both. The truth is, we'll probably never know the full extent of what happens behind those castle walls. We'll never know every covered up death, every silenced victim, every buried scandal. Disney's empire was built on control. Control of images, stories, emotions, and truth itself. himself. They decide what we know and what stays hidden, and maybe that's the most disturbing thing of all. So there you have it, the disturbing Disney iceberg. From clever paint colors to covered up crimes, from propaganda cartoons to dead lemmings, from communal underwear to child predators, Disney's built an empire on magic and wonder, but underneath, there's negligence, abuse, and systematic cover-ups. We've talked about what the company has done, the corporation, the machine, but we haven't talked about the mouse himself, because I've already proven something even more disturbing. Mickey isn't just a victim of corporate greed or an innocent mascot, he's the architect, the mastermind, the one pulling the strings this entire time. If you think this iceberg was dark, wait until you see what I found about Mickey Mouse himself. I've got a whole video proving he's an evil genius who's been playing us for a century. Check it out, because once you've seen the evidence, you can't unsee it. Thanks for watching. Stay suspicious. Mickey's watching back.